What's going on, everybody? Top 10 Pokemon back. And in case you've been living under a rock, the hottest thing in the Pokemon card market right now are full art trainer cards. So today, we'll be counting down the top 10 most expensive English full art trainer set cards. So it was tough to determine how to go about making this video. Did I just do English? Did I just do Japanese? Do them both? Include promos? So I think just for today's video, we're going to focus on English set cards. And then in a future video, maybe we'll do some Japanese and Japanese promos, English promos, all that jazz. So for right now, for today, English set cards. We will see a variety of full art trainer cards ranging from the black and white era all the way up through Scarlet and Violet. Now, I determined this top 10 list using the market price indicator on tcgplayer.com. So we'll be going through the top 10 most expensive trainer cards as well as several honorable mentions, and we're going to take a look at a few graded sales of these cards as well. And when you're done watching this video, please let me know what you think of the current market of these full art trainer cards. Do you think it's going to come down soon? Keep going up? Let me know below. So let's get started with the number 10 on our list today. It is a card from Team Up Set. It is Erica's Hospitality full art trainer that has a current market price of $128.63. And it has a few graded sales in recent times. Here is a CGC 10 that has sold for $335, while the PSA 10 hasn't sold for a little bit. It's been a few months, but when it last sold on eBay, it sold for $265. And Erica's Hospitality is in good company. There are so many insane cards right now from Team Up Set, including the Alt Art Latios, the Gengar. I mean, there's just so many. I can go on and on. But this Erica's Hospitality is the number 10 most expensive full art trainer card. Coming in at number 9, we have the very new Iono full art trainer from Paldea Evolved. This is a very popular trainer card that has a current market price of $129.95. Now, there haven't been any graded copies that hit the market quite yet. I do see a PSA 9 coming down the pike that I'll review on the auction recap, but so far I can't tell you any graded sales. Judging from the market price, I'm sure the first PSA 10 that lands will fetch quite the premium, but this Iono full art trainer is the number 9 on our list today. Coming in number 8, we have our first tag team trainer card. It is the Cynthia and Caitlin from Cosmic Eclipse. Now, Caitlin herself does not command much of a premium on her own cards, but when you pair her together with a S-tier trainer like Cynthia, you get a little bit more expensive. The current market price for this card is $135.86, while the last Gem Mint example that sold was for $305. Now, this will probably be our only tag team card on the list today, but it's still a noteworthy one. It's the number 8 most expensive. Coming in at number 7, we are going back to Ultra Prism in this full art Cynthia. It has a current market price of $143.42 for a raw copy, while the graded copies sell as a PSA 10 for about $360. And I remember back in the day when I was opening up cases of Ultra Prism, if you pulled a Cynthia or a Lily, you were in the money. This card has aged beautifully. It is the number 7 most expensive on our list. Coming in number 6, we're going all the way back to the black and white era to the set Boundaries Crossed in this full art Bianca trainer card that has a current market price of $154.20. And what's crazy about this card, folks, is I could not find a graded example to share with you to save my life. At least anything that's graded BGS, PSA, CGC 10s. I couldn't put them on the list because there hasn't been any for sale and there hasn't been any sold. So yeah, your guess is as good as mine for this card. I'm sure it would be quite hefty of a price if we saw a PSA 10 come by, but haven't seen it. This is the number 6 most expensive full art trainer card. Coming in number 5, we have a very popular trainer in Misty. Here we have a Misty's Favor full art trainer from Unified Minds that has a current market price of $181.83, with the last PSA 10 example selling for an even $500 in auction. So everybody knows Misty, very popular from the anime. Unified Minds I've always thought was a fairly underrated set. This right here is the number 5 most expensive full art trainer. Coming in number 4 is a trainer we always see come by in our auction recap. It is the full art Rosa from Cosmic Eclipse. Right now has a market price of $195.01. and the last PSA 10 copy that sold was for about $530. So for the longest time, I always thought that like the Charizard Breaks and Rainbow Rare card would be the most expensive in the set. I was wrong. It is certainly this Full Art Rosa and the number 4 most expensive on our list today. Getting down to the final 3, we're going back to Boundaries Crossed again in this Full Art Skyla. Has a market price right now of $212.18. And I couldn't tell you what this card would sell for, but I know the lowest buy it now as a PSA 10 on eBay is for a cool $2,000. So these cards from Boundaries Crossed seem to be a lot rarer than the modern day Full Art trainers. You just don't see them come by very often as 10s. This is the number 3 most expensive. The number 2 most expensive Full Art trainer is this Full Art Lycia from Celestial Storm. Has a market price of $266.35, and the last PSA 10 copy sold in auction for 960 big ones. So Lycia, a very desirable waifu card to say the least. This is the number 2 most expensive. Before we get to the number 1 most expensive and most popular Full Art trainer, which I'm sure you already know what that is, let's take a look at several honorable mention trainers. From XY Breakthrough, we have a Full Art Bridget. Has a market price of $31.55. Here we have a very new Full Art Miriam from Scarlet and Violet base set. Has a market price of $52.58. Here we have a Full Art Whitney from Lost Thunder with a market value of $62.82. Here we have an Acerola from Burning Shadows, has a market price of $67.43. And it's also worth noting that a PSA 10 copy of this card has recently sold for $1,425. And this Full Art Marnie from Sword and Shield base has a market price of $73.98. Here we have a Zinnia from Dragon Majesty, has a market value of $74.79. And then we have this Greens Exploration from Unbroken Bonds, has a market price of $83.50. And then here we have our first guy on the list today. It is N from Black and White Noble Victories, has a market price of $87.41. And then here we have an Iris from Plasma Blast, has a market value of $102.65, and a Professor Juniper from Plasma Freeze that has a market value of $104.44. And then from Plasma Storm, we have a Colress, has a market value of $118.83. Here we have a Sun and Moon base set Lily that has a market value of $119.18. And then speaking of Lily, here's a Lily's Full Force from Cosmic Eclipse, has a market value of $120.74, which leads me to the number 1 most expensive trainer. You know it, it's the Full Art Lily from Ultra Prism, has a current market price of $397.53. And the last sale of this card, we are seeing sales come through all the time for this Full Art trainer, was for a PSA 10 that sold for $3,050. Now, if you're looking to get your hands on a BGS 10, you're looking at about $6,500, while the Black Label gets into the 5-figure range. So folks, what do you think of Full Art trainers? Believe it or not, if you're not aware, these English Full Art trainers are blown away by their Japanese counterparts. I will make a separate video on that once I do a little bit more research, but let me know what you thought of the video. That's all I got for you, folks. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you all in my next one.